Had no need to fight tonight.
It legit looks like I have no hair. And yeah, that is because I got a haircut. It feels so weird without the things in the back. It's so freaking weird. Anyways, what is going on, guys? Nerd97 here, back again with another YouTube video. And today, we have an interesting one. Today, we're looking at my 10 Calder favorites for the 2021-2022 NHL season. This will include rookies that have not played enough games in the NHL to qualify as an actual, real NHLer, including some guys coming up in this year's draft, last year's draft, and I think maybe one or two from the drafts before. So this could be a very fun video to watch. But if you're new to the channel and have not already subscribed, I really would appreciate it. If you did so, it would help out my content. The views have been great lately. I've been really entertained by them. And yeah, I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get into the preview. So at number 10 here, I have Washington Capitals rookie Connor McMichael. Now, he's played a little bit in the NHL, and by a little bit, I mean literally one freaking game. And he had 0 points last season with the team. But on the Hershey Bears, on the other hand, in this 2021 season, he played 33 games played, had 14 goals, 13 assists for 27 points. He's coming out of the 2019 NHL draft, 23rd or 22nd overall, one of the two, and he is also 20 years old. I've always liked Connor McMichael. I thought when he got drafted, I was like, okay, this guy's going to be turned into something, and whenever I see a guy like that, I'm like, oh, he's definitely going to turn into something. I said the same thing about Joel Farabee, and I feel like the same thing is going to happen with Connor McMichael. So Capitals fans, if I were you, I would get pretty excited. The question is, does he make the lineup right out of the NHL? That's the question I'll be asking myself, and you guys can ask yourselves that as well heading into this coming season. I can't imagine he doesn't. If not, he'll probably flow into the lineup midway through the season, or he'll probably get a fourth line spot and then work his way up into the top 9, top 6, everything, so on and so forth. So this really is a development year for Connor McMichael. Do I think he wins the Calder? No, but I think I'll probably finish 10th in the rankings. At number 9 here, I have Shane Pinto from the Ottawa Senators. He was taken in the second round of the 2018 draft, if I'm not mistaken. And this season with the Senators, he played 12 games, had 1 goal, 6 assists for 7 points. He did not play in the American Hockey League this season, and he is 20 years old. Now, you might be thinking like, oh my god, where are you getting Shane Pinto from? Why is he above Connor McMichael? The thing is with that, I like Pinto, and I think with the games that I saw him play this season, and a lot of Senators fans that watch this video would agree with me and say that Pinto is a very, very solid forward. He's probably going to be going into this season as the second-line center. And playing with a second-line center in Ottawa, unless there's a trade that happens between then and now. If so, obviously I'll cover it. But the thing is with Pinto is that he's going to be probably playing second-line, top 6 minutes. So he's going to get a good amount of time, and I think he is going to put up points. I don't think he's going to be an insane rookie, but I still think he's going to be a very solid rookie this coming season for the Ottawa Senators, as they are really developing and trying to get those last guys developed before this team goes on a legitimate run for the next couple of years. So at number 8 here, we're going over to the Western Conference for the first prospect in this video. We're going over to the Anaheim Ducks and defenseman Jamie Drysdale. Now, he played 24 games with the Ducks this season, but he is still considered a rookie. He played 14 games in the American Hockey League. He had 4 goals, 6 assists, and 10 points. That's fairly good, and Drysdale's one of those underrated defensemen coming up on the rise for the Ducks here as we move along. I really, really like him personally. I think he's going to be a very solid top 4, maybe even first-pairing defenseman in his NHL career. He's also 19 years old, by the way. I really enjoy watching him play. Him and Trevor Zegras is going to be a very exciting duo this season, no matter how bad the Anaheim Ducks are, and I am definitely looking forward to watching a couple of Ducks games, especially since they're going to be playing against my Arizona Coyotes. Ah, yes. At number 7 here, we're going over to the rising city of Detroit with the Detroit Red Wings and looking at a player named Lucas Raymond. And Raymond is an interesting one to me because I think that he's going to really surprise people this coming season. I genuinely do think that. Playing for Forlunda HC in the SHL, he played 34 games, had 6 goals, 12 assists for 18 points. He has not played in the NHL or the American Hockey League yet, and he is also 19 years old. Do I think that he's going to get a NHL spot right out of the gate? It's possible, but I don't think it's very likely. I think he's probably going to start out the season in the American Hockey League with the Grand Rapids Griffins. We're going to see how he does, and then he's going to rise up to the NHL, and then he's going to play solid there. Probably work up like Connor McMichael will with the Caps. I think that Raymond's really going to surprise people, and towards the late end of the season, he really is going to rise up, and he's really going to put up the points, and that's what's going to make him rise above Pinto, Drysdale, and McMichael to 7th in my Calder rankings. Now at number 6 here, this may be probably one of my hottest takes. Rising him above Lucas Raymond, above Connor McMichael, above Shane Pinto, and even above Jamie Drysdale. This could be one of my hottest takes so far. At number 6, I have Minnesota Wild prospect Marco Rossi. This guy is interesting because he did not play at all in 2021. He went down with a very bad COVID issue. He was in the hospital for a little bit, and this guy was just knocked down to the ground. He has had very bad luck this year. And in 2020, on the other hand, he played 39 games, had 39 goals, 81 assists for 120 points. And then he went over to the Ontario Hockey League, and he didn't play. And that's really the unfortunate part. He's 19 years old. And you may be thinking like, oh, why do you have him above all those other guys you mentioned? I feel like he is definitely going to surprise people. Absolutely. And I think his ratings have gone down low. I think people have kind of forgotten about him in Minnesota, and I think he's really going to rise up to the plate and become a legitimate NHL rookie this season. And he very well could win the Calder if he gets enough motivation on himself. And I think that, if you look at the other players on this core, you can think to yourself like, oh, Kaprizov will help him definitely flourish. Fiala definitely will. Hartman definitely will. The Wild are looking very exciting headed to the season, and Marco Rossi is just another player to add to that exciting team coming up. So midway through here, on to number 5, and this guy I think is actually kind of underrated. I think he's a very underrated prospect, and I think that not a lot of people are talking about him in Vancouver. That is Vasili Podkolzin. Now, Podkolzin in 2021 with the KHL, he played 35 games, had 5 goals, 6 assists for 11 points. That may not sound that big, but for a young guy playing in the KHL amongst a lot of men, that's pretty good. You're playing amongst like Jaromir Jagr, other guys on that core who have been in the NHL before, and they obviously are veteran leaders. But this young guy in here, he's coming in and lighting it up, and I think he's definitely going to do very stellar with the Canucks this season. He's also 20 years old. You look at the Canucks core, you have Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson, which they still haven't signed yet. They have a lot of other guys rising up to this prospect pool, and if they kept the 9th overall pick instead of going to get Connor Garland, which I still think is a very solid young option, they would have had a guy like Dylan Guenther. And imagine adding Guenther to Podkolzin, Pettersson, and Hughes. We're talking about a whole different scenario there. So it is extremely exciting to watch this Canucks roster, and I think we're really going to enjoy Podkolzin this season, and he's going to be one of those guys that really rises up into the top 5, and maybe even he could even be a contention to win the Calder even. It's very possible. We have no idea what's going to happen this coming year for the Canucks. So at number 4 here, and you could even argue that I have him ranked low, and a lot of people have been ranking him low in their Calder rankings. I have Quinton Byfield. He played in 2021 with the Ontario Reign, had 32 games played, 8 goals, 12 assists for 20 points. It's the second time I've done that. He also played 6 games with the LA Kings in the NHL this season, and he had only 1 point. But he did look pretty solid in the games that he did play, because obviously a lot of them were against the Arizona Coyotes. So I really like how Byfield is developing. He's also 19 years old. But, the thing is, like, some people are saying, like, oh, he's going to be absolutely a bust. Stutzel's better. All these other guys are way better than him. I don't know, but I think Byfield this season is going to come in here, and he may surprise people. He may even finish above the guys that I have finished above him. Like, he's just that crazy of a player, and I feel like he can become the best rookie in the NHL if everything goes right for him. Moving on into the top 3, and this guy deserves this whole entire segment. Moritz Seider I have at number 3. The thing is with Seider is he is a defenseman, sure. You could argue he's You could argue Byfield's better. You could argue some other guys are better. But personally, I look at Moritz Seider and I say he is the best defensive prospect in the entire NHL right now. And I think a lot of people would agree with me. In 2021, in the SHL with, I don't think it's for Orlando, it was Robble HK, something like that. And he played 41 games, had 7 goals, 21 assists for 28 points. He is a boy amongst men, and he is making insane plays the way he has been. He scored 7 goals. 7 goals for a defenseman and got almost 30 points in a league that is very competitive, full of a lot of old guys. Some have even played in the NHL, and some very tough talent in the SHL. And he's played great. And that's why I think he is probably one of those underrated guys here. And, it really wouldn't surprise me if Seider rises above the guys that I haven't mentioned yet and becomes the best prospect in the NHL. There is no doubt in my mind that could very well possibly happen. And if it happens, I'll be very happy for him. He definitely deserves that after everything he's been through. But I've really liked his play so far, and I'm really excited to see how he's going to do with Detroit this coming season. So at number 2, we are going back over to the West Coast with the Anaheim Ducks, and we're going to talk about Trevor Zegras. Zegras, you could even argue him as the best prospect in the NHL. You could even argue him above the C word. I'm not going to say his name. But Zegras is a really, really solid playmaker. He's not a goal scorer like the C word, but he can be very solid. He played 17 games with the San Diego Gulls, the Ducks affiliate this season. Had 10 goals, 11 assists for 21 points. More than a point per game, and he looked very dominant with them. And I'm very excited to see how he's going to do with the Ducks this season. He also played 24 games with Anaheim this season, had 13 points. He looked very solid, and especially in the games that he played against the Coyotes, he looked very solid as well. And I'm very excited to see how he's going to do next season for the Ducks. But he may get overshadowed by a little guy named he's a little bit short, You might know him. He wears a red jersey, and you might know him. You might know him. Anyways, let's move on. Now, before we get into number 1, let's look at some honorable mention players that I have. I listed the best 3 honorable mentions that I could list. At number 1, we're going up to Toronto in Canada for Nicholas Robertson. I think Nicholas Robertson is going to be a very solid rookie this season. I just am not really too sure if he's going to crack the top 10. Now, at number 2 here for my honorable mentions, we're going over to the city of Winnipeg to look at Cole Perfetti. Now, Perfetti, I like him. I like him a lot, and he's going to be a very underrated rookie this season. I just don't know if he makes that top 10, to be genuinely honest with you. There's going to be a rookie that rises out of nowhere and makes the top 10. That could very well be Perfetti, but I'm not too sure if that's going to happen because Perfetti's a goal scorer like the C word, and he can obviously, he's a goal scorer, but he's not like as crazy as the C word. So I don't think he's going to get off to a hot start in the scoring right away, but I think he's going to get into it later on. And as for number 3, the final third player in my honorable mentions, I'm going over to the city of Los Angeles to pick Alexander Turcotte. I think Turcotte's going to be a very solid forward for the Kings this coming season with Quinton Byfield. I just don't think he cracks the top 10, personally. And finally, at number 1, I can't not put him at number 1 after what he did with Michigan, what he did with Montreal, and not just the regular season, but the playoffs as well. Cole Caufield. With Michigan this season, he played 31 games, had 30 goals, 22 assists for 52 points. In 30 games, he almost had more goals than he had games played. That is crazy. In the Montreal regular season, he wasn't that strong, to be honest. He was really just getting used to the NHL. He scored an overtime winner against Ottawa. You could argue, he only has tip-ins, he only has overtime winners. But that all changed when he went to the playoffs. And in the playoffs, he played really, really well. Genuinely. Like, he was you could argue he was their best player. And you could even argue he was better than Price, which Price practically carried them to the finals. But Caufield, he looked like he's played in the NHL for 5 years when he was in the playoffs. Like, he looked like an established NHL player. And that's the crazy thing about this 20-year-old forward. And I'm actually very excited to talk about him tomorrow in our Montreal Canadiens season preview, which ironic it's tomorrow. We're making our Calder favorites today. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thank y'all for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and you have not already subscribed, please make sure to do that. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We are almost halfway there. And yeah, thank you all for watching, for your support, and I will see you guys in the next video. Adios.